I've lived in Germany for a year and a half. I spoke to my landlord once, and he said, "So Dan, you've lived in Germany for a year now. What do you think?" And I go, "Germany is amazing. I love it so much, but sometimes I still feel like I'm a second-class citizen here." And he goes, "No, Dan, don't say that. You're not a citizen." So that's stupid, but I still feel grateful to them that let me stay, that let me do my job in Germany, because back home in Russia I couldn't do comedy anymore because I couldn't do being anti-war, being anti-Putin is illegal now, so I couldn't do a lot of my jokes. I had to do like the trailers for my jokes. I would start my last shows in Russia by just saying, "One day he will die." That was the whole joke. Everybody laughed and applauded. Everybody except for one undercover cop who sat in the corner of the room with his camera. And he was like, "Who will die? Say it on camera." Comics in Europe are terrified when I tell them that cops and other law enforcement guys always come to comedy shows in Russia, but not to laugh. Right? They want just want to arrest some comedian for doing political stuff, and they're like, "That must be scary to perform like that." I'm like, "Yeah, it's scary, but also you feel important." Because one of my last shows in Russia was in this small club, and I was in the green room before the show, and the club manager comes in and he goes, "Hey buddy, don't freak out, but guys from Federal Security Service are in the audience today, so be careful." And I go, "Guys from Federal Security Service came to see me? That means I'm a good comic." He goes, "Yeah buddy, you did it." But of course, usually you are not happy to see a cop in Russia, like ever, like even if you need one. You know, I was robbed once in my hometown in the street, and after this robbery, I just stood in the street and I had two thoughts in my head. The first one was, "Oh fuck, I got robbed." And the second one was, "Oh fuck, cops are here." You know, you're never happy to see them. And thank God it's pretty easy to spot an undercover cop during a comedy show in Russia because they suck at hiding. It's their job to hide, they don't know how to do it. Because at the beginning of every show, the host talks to the audience and is like, "What do you do?" And people are like, "I'm a teacher, I'm a software engineer." And really often there is a guy who says, "It doesn't matter." And all the comics are like, "Yeah, that's a fucking cop over there." It's true because things they do, they really don't matter. So that's true, that's true. And I thought a lot like why I'm so obsessed with this cop's attention. And I realized it's because I have a really low self-esteem and I need attention. I don't even know how to explain my self-esteem. Okay, raise your hand if you think you have a low self-esteem. Okay, that's a pretty confident audience. All right. I saw some hands, but I know that there are people in the darkness who thought, "Who am I to even raise my hand?" That's my level of self-esteem. I hate myself. It's like I have this inner voice in my head that criticizes everything that I do, how I look, how I move. It's like those Mission Impossible movies where Tom Cruise has this earpiece and there's Simon Pegg with his laptop somewhere telling him what to do, what to run. I have the same thing, but my Simon Pegg is an asshole. He says, "Turn right. By the way, you're a piece of shit." I'm like, fuck. I don't see a whole Mission Impossible movie with this evil Simon Pegg. He would say horrible shit into Tom Cruise's earpiece. So he would say, "Stop doing tricks, you're old. You can't do it anymore, you're 60. Don't jump off a cliff on a motorcycle. Have you seen the title of the movie? Mission Impossible, you idiot." And then there's like 45 minutes of Tom Cruise crying on the floor. That is my favorite movie. And I thought a lot, it's all because we were used to talk to each other like that in my family. That is why I'm like that. And I realized that recently because I rewatched all the Harry Potter movies because it was raining. And and in the very last Harry Potter movie, there's a scene where Harry Potter is about to fight Voldemort for the last time. But before that, his whole family shows up as ghosts. And they say amazing things to Harry Potter. They say, "We love you so much. We will be with you till the end. Don't be afraid of anything." And I'm watching this and I'm thinking, what the fuck is this? Do families talk like that? I mean, if I were to fight Voldemort, I don't want my family to show up. Because my family will say something different. They will say, "You're just going to embarrass yourself. You should have just stayed home. By the way, read another book." Stop with those Harry Potter references. It's always like that when you grow up in a Russian family. And when you grow up in a Russian family, it's really hard to get love from your family. And it's never an unconditional love. You always have to deserve it. And you don't just deserve it. It's better if you ruin your life somehow. Then you recover by yourself. And then you get your love. I have a cousin, he was 19 years old. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison for stealing. But he behaved well in prison, so they released him for parole of just 1 year. And then he became a hero in our family. At every family gathering, they would say, "Oh my God, Alex behaved well in prison." So they let him go. And I'm sitting next to my cousin, and nobody praises me for never going to prison. It's somehow worse in my family. And they never approved any of my life choices. I've always wanted to be a comedian, and they were like, "It's not a real job. You can't make money with comedy. You have to find a real job in an office." And I was like, "I don't want to work in an office. I will be unhappy in an office." And they're like, "Okay, so?" Like, it's an important thing to do. I'm like, "I want to be happy in my life." And they're like, "What are you, gay?" It's like... And I only started doing comedy when I left for another city, and I started doing comedy there, and I started posting pictures of me doing comedy to my Instagram page, and my family hated it. They would see a new picture of me doing comedy, and they would call me immediately, and they were like, "Stop doing it. Why are you doing it? You're gonna get expelled from the university. Stop." And I got so tired of these conversations, so I decided to hide my comedy career from them, especially after I got expelled. It became really important. So I created a separate Instagram page they didn't know about, and I would post pictures of me doing comedy to that page, and to my old page I would only post pictures of me being sad. My family loved it. They would open Instagram, they would see 20 new pictures of me being sad, and they were like, "All right, he looks unhappy all the time. He finally grew up." But I kept doing comedy, and it became a career, and I didn't know how to tell them about my secret comedy career. I didn't know how to come out to my family as a comedian. And thank God my government helped me. Because I did a lot of political jokes, and at some point the police decided to arrest me, or at least to interrogate me. And I spoke to every journalist that I knew to protect myself, and I found out how the journalism worked in Russia. Because at first, big media wrote, "A comedian is being interrogated by the police." Then media in my home region wrote, "A comedian from our region is being interrogated by the police." And then media in my hometown wrote, "Our boy is going to prison." This is the media my family reads, and they found out about my comedy career. And not only did those journalists publish the news, they also attached all the 3 comedy specials I had at the moment. And my family, for years, they thought I didn't do comedy at all. And in just one night, they watched 3 comedy specials where I shit a lot on my family. After that, only my mom called me. She called me and she said, "You know, I liked that. The jokes were good. I didn't know you were smart." I'm like, "What's that supposed to mean? You didn't know I was smart? You didn't expect me to grow up smart? Why? Did you smoke during pregnancy? Why?" I mean, if you make something, if you create a human being, you kind of expect it to be good. And if you are surprised, that means you had doubts. I don't know, imagine Elon Musk launching his rocket, and we watch the live stream and the rocket is taking off, and we hear Elon Musk screaming, "Holy shit, it's flying!" It means you had doubts.